Yeah, what's up, family? Welcome to Comedian Bible Study with me, Sean Grant. I'm so excited to have you here. So blessed. This is the show where I trick my favorite people in the world into talking about my favorite thing, which is the Bible. Okay, now I'm the third most important person in this room. Okay, the second is my brother Channing. You're gonna hear his voice. He's the producer of the show and an amazing comedian. Say what's up, Channing.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, but I gotta bring in the first, the most important brother that came to show the show love. Man, I'm so excited to have him here. You know him for his amazing sets on Kevin Hart's Heart of the City and on True TV's Laff Tracks. He's also a favorite at clubs all over Los Angeles, but he tours all over the world. My brother Terrence Delane.
Yeah, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Bro, I'm so excited. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you. I'm glad that I got here. I know I was a little late. That's not very punctual, but I'm glad to be here.
Hey, man, that's all good. Bro, you made it here safely. Thank you for that, man. And yo, I'm so excited to talk to you. I know you know your Bible, man. But before, I want everybody else to know your theological stance at this moment in time. I mean, if you want to give some of your history, that's cool too. But let the people know what your theological stance is.
Before we get started, can you please break down the word theological?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess your
no, I get it. My stance on
religion or God or
I guess I would
denomination.
I guess I would consider myself a Christian, right?
Right.
I'm a believer of Christ.
Right.
But I think to be a good Christian or be a good believer in anything, you must know everything else, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up in a Mormon household. My grandparents my grandparents are immigrants from Mexico. So when they came over here, the Mormons helped them get their paperwork right, and still to today they practice and the missionaries come over. And I've always been a person. I love their dedication. You see the Mormons on the bikes.
Oh yeah,
I don't care if it's 130, they gonna be on them bikes.
Let me tell you something. Any man that believes in that, whatever he believes in, not much to be on them bikes around LA. More power to you, bro.
And it's in Phoenix, so you know.
Oh, you was in Phoenix. That's right. You came up in Phoenix.
So they 120 on the bike.
Gosh.
Yeah. So I love their dedication and the way they really look out for the members. But that what always worked for me was like being a Christian, and that's what works for me. But even one of my best friends right now is Ramadan. They're Muslim, so they believe in Ramadan, and I love their dedication. Ramadan just passed, and just to see their dedication, I was like, if I can do what they do for Allah, for God, I'll be an amazing brother. So I try to incorporate everything. My wife, she comes from a Buddhist background. She's Cambodian. And I love that too. Like even their stance on it. I asked my wife, I was like, what's your, everything else has a devil or what their evil is. And she was like, we don't focus on that. We just focus on the peace and the good. I was like, well, that's a great way to look at things. So, I mean, I consider myself a Christian, but I don't, I love what everybody else believes in, as long as you do it the best to your ability.
I feel the same way, bro. I feel like I can see God in somebody. I mean, the way we get to it, is one thing, but sometimes I see forgiveness in somebody that doesn't understand, or not understand, but it doesn't necessarily believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ, but they display more forgiveness than people who profess it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've seen like a Muslim brother, I've talked to Channing about this on the show, of where he forgave a brother that somebody that killed his son. Right there on the stand, it was the most transformative thing. You see the dude cry, and they hugged. And I said, man, even other brothers, Muhammad Ali, I see God in him, Malcolm X. You see certain people not driven by the flesh and that feel the power of God. So I mean, that's what this show is about, bringing people. As long as you comic, you know what I mean. If you atheists, don't matter. I like the way comedians think, and I respect your drive as a person and your drive as a comedian. So thank you for sharing your way you think with the show. So for bringing the word. And this way a brother know his Bible. My brother brought Nahum. Okay, there's 66 books in the Bible. We going into the Old Testament. Nahum. Okay, one of the prophets. Okay. Now, we're in Nahum chapter 1, verse 5 through 7, and we'll read at 5, and this is from the NIV. I got it. This 5. The mountains quake before him, and the hills melt away. The earth trembles at his presence, the world and all who live in it. 6. Who can withstand his indignation? Who can endure his fierce anger? His wrath is poured out like fire. The rocks are shattered before him. 7. The Lord is good. Same brother. The Lord is good. A refuge in times of trouble. He cares for those who trust in him. Praise God. I love this, man. Why? Before we get into why Terrence chose this is from the book of Nahum. Like I said, Nahum is a part of the Old Testament or Tanakh. It is a group of poems written by the prophet Nahum, who was born in 635 BC. He was announcing the downfall of the Assyrian oppression over Israel. Israel had a lot of oppressors, man. The fall of Assyria and its capital city, Nineveh. Okay, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about the fall of that nation. It was written around 612 BC, and the next oppressor of Israel will be the Babylonians, who desecrated the Assyrians at this time. But next would come the Babylonians, and then the Romans, and so on and so forth. Derek, why did you pick this particular scripture passage?
The reason I picked this particular scripture is I've never really been big like a Bible thumper, right? Like I've been a member of the church, and we do something that's called D time, where you take about the first 10 minutes of your day, or after you brush your teeth, and you go into prayer, quiet time, you talk to the Lord, and you read your word. I've never been the best reader, to be honest with you. Like even opening the Bible, sometimes even when you read it out the Bible, it's hard for me to understand. Like it just sounds like it's just a lot of going on.
Right.
So I've always been, as long as you can stay consistent. So what I have is a daily devotional. I post it all the time on my story. And that was the word for today, you know? So I did actually study the word, and that's what made me choose what the word of the day was going to be.
Yeah.
So, man. I mean, I know a lot of people that like, oh, bro, you get in your Bible every day. I do. I try to. I do try to get in my Bible, and it's crazy because I do recommend and tell everybody to get in their Bible, because for some, I don't know if it's just me or other people feel like this, whatever story I'm reading in the Bible, I start seeing those things start happening in my life. I start having dreams. I'm like, oh, Lord is talking to me. So, I mean, but yeah, this is the, I guess, beginner way to start getting into your Bible. Everybody asks, like, what do I read and what do I need to get into? I feel like this is the easiest for me. Right. And one thing that, like when a word like really hits, I'll go back and do what Sean did. I'll take the passage and then I'll do more research on it. So that's
what I love, and I think that's the nature of the show, is just to get people to open it up. You know, because I hear a lot of people that might want to even do bits about the Bible or their idea of the gospel of Jesus Christ or different, and but they clearly don't read it, or it'll be like me doing a political joke or even a joke about the Quran, which I'm not as well versed on, so I would never do a joke about unless I understood it or had some baseline knowledge. So I appreciate that. That's what this is for. We're trying to study. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's so much in the world that we always talk about as comedians. So this is, why not? Whether you believe it or not, man, it's a great book to read, and it can reach you at any different part of your life if you allow it to touch your heart, man. I've even seen Channing change his life a little bit, man. He ain't trying to read the Bible. He's just a producer.
You gonna get some of that prayer over.
I get a little enlightened when I'm in here.
I see
100%.
it. I see it, man.
I'm gonna say that. Hey, that's how I start out. You be the cameraman at the church before you knew it.
He dancing,
like,
having the
Holy
Holy
Ghost. Got me teaching the kids. Right.
We gonna make Channing get the Holy Ghost behind that mic. You gonna hear all this noise.
Channing, you ever been to a black church?
Pretty soon. What's up?
You ever been to a black church, Channing?
I haven't.
You gotta go.
I haven't been to church in a while.
For real?
It's been a long time. Yeah.
They gonna get you.
Oh yeah, man. That'll get you into it.
Channing. I've seen that boy Channing came through here the other day.
What do you call the black churches that wear like the gloves with like the white?
I think that's just some southern ones that have
southern thing that they do like the miming.
Oh, that's just the liturgical dancing.
Yeah, that's not just a specific church. Usually it's in the Baptist church, but that's just sometimes they'll have those people come out like during their praise and worship. It'd be the prayer and worship leaders. Yeah. I used to have my gloves too. I wasn't a prayer and worship.
Oh, really?
No, I was a usher. I'd be like 2 seats, and you take your gloves. You'd be like 2 seats.
You just respect
they do like
somebody
dancing.
Yeah, liturgical dance. Yeah, that's to me. Look, man, and I love me some church, because that to me, liturgical dancing is the only thing that hasn't gotten booed on the Apollo. Okay, because you can't boo Jesus, and I can't tell when it's good or bad. Honestly, I don't know when it's good or bad.
Yeah, sometimes you can boo some. I done seen some people get
some
booed
bad
to
liturgical dancing. It's just literally a gospel song, and they're like expressing themselves to it, and you don't know because it's only one person usually, right? So you don't even when it's two, they're not in sync necessarily.
I done seen the ones that got the streamers that come across. I was once.
Yeah. Dude, it's hard not to get into that shit.
Where were you when you saw that?
Dude, I've always thought about it. Like, I've just seen it like on TV or online or something, and I've been like, dude, this shit is lit.
Yeah,
you gotta go one time, bro.
Yeah.
You gonna be part of the podcast ministry. We've been thinking about starting a church of our own.
Oh, they give you a job quick.
Quick. I gotta talk about that.
I've always been like, not exactly atheist, but like more deist agnostic.
Yeah.
But then I listened to Sean talk and like a couple other guys, and I've always had this like, you ever seen the movie Dogma?
Dogma, no, I haven't seen it.
It's a comedy movie. It's one of those Jay and Silent Bob movies, but it's based on Catholic dogma.
Okay.
And they always reference religion as just being a good idea. And they try and like simplify it. It's like, I think Chris Rock has a quote in it where he's like, humanity took a good idea, built a belief system on it, and fucked everything up.
True enough,
so I've always
man.
just kind of like had that sort of an outlook on it. Like, I don't like the politics of it. I don't like the pressures or the punishments that come along with religion, especially man versus man. But it's a good idea.
And it's good to get in the actual book like we doing, because then you'll see, oh, that was an interpretation. Sometimes just interpretations of the word get passed down, but when you see what was actually written, you're like, I can see how you cannot interpret it that way. You know what I mean? Not to say that I'm not heretical in that way. I mean, I don't tend to disagree all the time with what religious doctrine has passed down to us through the Martin Luthers and through the C.S. Lewises and all these theologians. But yeah, man, when you read it for yourself, you might. And also, I want to thank Channing for this. He gave me some holy water.
Holy water.
He got it. Yeah, man. So, well, somebody gave it to you. Somebody.
My neighbor gave it to me.
His neighbor. Wait, was it Mama Coco?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
she would love it.
Okay, there's an older Latina lady that she's very nice.
You ever seen the movie Coco?
Yeah, I seen Coco.
She straight up looks like Mama Coco.
Yeah, super sweet. Always lets me in.
That's what my grandma looked like. Really? Yeah, her name ain't Coco. Her name is Kuka.
Kuka.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta do a sequel.
Yeah. We gotta be in a remake.
Right.
The live action version.
Yeah.
Man, but I wanted to, because I'm one thing I know about you, man. Like you said, you're into regiment, religion. I watch your Instagram. You work out, you work your body, but the way I've seen you even come up in comedy. Like in the last, you've only been doing, 8 years, right?
It's been about 9, but give or take. Yeah.
But dude, your success is because of your dedication to technique and to regiment, right? And I feel like, maybe I could be wrong, that comes from a reliance on God. How did you begin relying on your relationship with God in your efforts to do things?
Well, from a young age, I always remember like we came up in a Mormon church.
Right.
My grandparents were Mormon, and they just were big on we spent a lot of time in the church, and my grandfather led the Spanish ministry in the church. So we spent a lot of time in the church. So it was always around me. And then as I just got older, just was always ingrained. But of course, we all flee. I feel like even when your parents are in the church, you see the other side of it, like you were talking about my grandparents arguing, and you like, oh, so you kind of turn your back on God. So I had to go through my own journeys, and then I found him in my own life. And that's just where I noticed, like I said, that's where I found myself the most peaceful. I feel like you could be at the bottom. Like even my journey moving to LA and comedy, I was like at the bottom I've ever been. And I literally I was at the point in my life, I was like, either A, I'm going to get shot, I'm going to shoot somebody. And those were really my two options. And if you shoot somebody, you're finna go to jail. So I remember I kind of been in some beef, and I thought they were going to shoot my house up. And I was laying on the side of my bed, and just like a week prior, somebody broke in my house, stole everything, right? Dang. So I was talking to a chick. When I tell you, it was just like blow after blow after blow on my life. And I was going through it. And so I was talking to a chick at the time. She brought over a DVD. It was Kevin Hart's first special.
Oh,
I had that.
Grown little man. Though.
I had that, and I had P90X with my 2 DVDs. It was my 2 DVD. So when they robbed me, they only left P90X. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't even leave the whole set. They just left where you could test yourself. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the test. So they left that, and then they left.
This is the test. Oh,
shit. Yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. But
that's exactly what it was.
They left that, and then a girl brought over Kevin Hart's DVD. So I was a person that I had to go to bed with something on. So I'm literally, like I said, this is my mindset. I'm either gonna get shot or I'm gonna shoot somebody. And I know if I shoot somebody, what happens if you shoot somebody. Like I'm like, dang, I know. Not saying people in jail aren't talented, but I'm just saying damn, I'll be a waste of talent. Like, I'm gonna be in jail. I'm gonna be the dude that's like in there being, damn, if Blase Blah was out, he'd be doing something with his life. I've been that person, so I didn't want to be that person. So I'm laying on the side of my bed, and I was just at the lowest of lowest, and I felt like my back was against the wall. And I just prayed to God, and I was like, God, I just want a way out. You know, one thing my father did, like, my father wasn't around too much, but one thing I know he did teach me was like, anytime you're in a situation, you got to give a man a way out. And I don't know why that just kept playing in my, like, you got to ask for a way out. So I was like, God, I want a way out. Like, I need to get out of this. Like, my back's against, just give me an option. And literally at the time I was doing these, like, I was vlogging, I guess, at the time. You know, I didn't know that that's what it was, but I would like vlog and do different stuff. And Norman was like, hey, bro, you funny, bro. You should come to LA and do comedy. Wow. And I think he just told me, like, in a gesture, like, oh, you would be good. You should try it. And I was so, like, at the lowest of lowest. I was like, all right, I'm coming. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, I'm coming. And it just gave me a way out. So, like, even when I moved here, the first people I met a couple comics, and then I met a brother from the church. Right. And I was kind of battling the case, like I was going to court. And so, you know, when anytime you fighting for your life, you get holy. You know what I'm saying? I joined the church, like I was telling you. I joined the church, and it was a black church. They made me the youth pastor. You know what I'm saying? So I was the youth. How many murders you just one? Come on. So I was a youth pastor at the church, and that was like my thing. So I stopped. Like I would kind of fool around with comedy, but I still wasn't like 10 toes in comedy, because I was like, you know, the church would make me feel bad about, oh, you out there in that secular world, you gonna either be stronger than it, or it's gonna take you out. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I always was big on having my own relationship with God. And I feel like that's something that we need to preach more too. Like, I never been the type of person that's like, yo, Channing, God told me to tell you, like, God got your number. You know what I'm saying? God, my phone ain't busy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I got call waiting for a reason. Talking about you behind your back. I just want to let you know, me and God was having breakfast. So he wanted me to tell. So I never been that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all about like, yo, I give you my opinion, but I don't never want to put that like, God told me to tell you. Like, I don't never think that that's cool. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's something that a lot of people have issues with.
They do, bro. I think that that's one of the biggest things. I don't want to say problems with church, but I think that that's one of the biggest things that I see people get deterred from in the church setting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, my job is not, like I said, my job is to introduce you to it, right? My job is not to walk you through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna introduce you to God. Now, however God works in your life, now that's dope. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like too many churches it's like that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the opportunity we have on a platform like this, because we're not trying to pretend we're holier than anybody. Right? You get the true, unadulterated truth from a comedian. Like, when they on stage, if they depressed, they could talk about it. See, I feel bad for I know pastors, when they going through depression, you can't start no sermon. I'm depressed, y'all. Thought about suicide yesterday. Anyway, open up the book. You know what I'm saying? So you still have that advantage to be not necessarily of the world, but you in the world. You can be accessible to people, but you know your book, you know your scripture, you know your doctrine. But it'd be mainly Christian people that want to flip, extra religious people, the people that Jesus had a problem with, that would try to flip the word and make you have to do their will and not God's will necessarily.
I feel like that's the world though now too. Man, excuse me, some of my eyes been bothering me. But yeah, I feel like that's the world. Like, we're in the industry right now, or just a time where like everybody has an opinion on what other people are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta think about it. You post something, comments, you know what I'm saying? So like, but that's like everybody. Like, you know, back in the day, we used to have this stigma, like, you know, Christians be judging. Now the whole world, everybody gets, you know, the opportunity. Like, now everybody has a gavel. You know what I'm saying? That's true, and they're quick to tell you what's. You know what I'm saying? If I post right now, I'm on a Bible study podcast. You know how many people are gonna be like, oh, what Bible you know that blah blah wrote that? Like, it's just you know. And I tell people like this about believing in whatever you believe in, right? You can find just how you can find a million things in what you believe in that are gonna work for your life. You got 1,000,001 reasons why it shouldn't work for your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I got friends that are vegan and that works good for them. And then I got another friend who be like, oh, bro, you should eat elk. It's the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, however, whatever works for you, just be the best at that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's really what I'm
You see it working out in your character. If you walk around with joy and I wonder what that is, and he says it's because I eat elk. I eat a whole moose today. That's why I have the joy of God in me. Well, give me some of that moose. Yeah. If it make you, but if you walking around having to convince people to make your doctrine or whatever you believe valid, I could believe in Jesus all by myself.
Yeah.
If nobody else believes in Jesus, I'm right here. You know what I'm saying? And it's all, but if you, whatever, I respect what everybody wants to believe. And that's why I trust my ability to have this podcast, because I don't feel the need to defend God or be his lawyer or kill anybody on his behalf. I feel like he could do all of that.
Yeah. On his own.
You know, he could straight, according to Nahum, you know what I'm saying? He got all kind of, and I know, I wanted to get into that when you said people was, you had some serious beef. Nothing that's going to incriminate you or make anybody find you. Cause I don't even know if Terrence Delane is your real name. But have you ever seen divine justice in your life? The way Nahum was talking about?
Oh man, I've seen it. Like so let me tell you, I'm a worrier, right? So even when I tell you I was going through a little case when I was younger.
Yes, sir.
And I remember when you locked up, the juvenile facility I was in, it'd be so crowded, right? That they would have like people that have been in there a little while and they're kind of trusted. They would have like a mat right outside your door. You know what I'm saying? So they literally, I could look outside my door of my room and it'd be people just lined up down the thing. Like that was their cell for the night. That's just how overcrowded we were, right? Wow. And so sometimes people will be beefing. So say somebody down the hall is beefing with somebody that's out there, like they'll flood a toilet all night. So now the water has to run down your bed. You know what I'm saying? But all night in there, it just sound like, you know, in the movie, you know when the Tupac that Weekend Party, remember how it just started off, how it just be like like chaos. Yeah. That's what it would sound like at night. At night, that's what this night. You just hear people, oh my God, and I'd be like, bro, it's hard to sleep. Yeah. So I remember one time I'm laying in my bed. And the world just got so quiet that it scared me. Right. And I'm supposed to have court the next day. And I was like, did I die? You know, you be like, am I dead? You know, because it was so quiet. Yeah. And a little bit of light shined through my little window, and it was on the wall. And I like leaned my back up against the wall and let the light. And I literally, it gave me a sense of like, everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that was God, but it was the first time I seen him work in my life to where like I was at peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, not my will, but your will be done. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then just it's been several, like even just being in Los Angeles, it was never my dream to be a comedian, to live in LA. You know what I'm saying? But I remember even when I was at that time that I'm telling you, I was like bottom. One thing that was in my mind was Job. Remember, Job had everything. You know what I'm saying? Even his wife is like, hey, I don't know why you keep praising this guy.
Man, yo, what Joe's wife said was so gay. Are you familiar with this? She said, Joe, why don't you just curse your God and die? That was what she told him. Like, look, man, this is not working out. Curse God. That's a terrible option. I'm still going to die.
Yeah.
Oh no, he was just being so God allowed the devil to do everything to, he's going to remove the hedge around his life, because the idea is that the only reason he praises you, and Job is a man from the East, he's not a Hebrew, right? Which means that you can have access to God even anyway, right? Even before the covenant with Jesus, there were people who were not necessarily in the Hebrew Israelite covenant who had access to God. But Job is the only one. God praises God, and the devil was walking around seeing whom he devour, and he said the only reason he praises you is because you keep a hedge around him. If you take the hedge away, blah blah blah, right? He'll curse you just like everybody else curses you around here. And he goes, all right. And let's see, and he kills some of his family. A tornado comes, and the devil rains hell on his life, like similar to what you're going through at this point in your life. And basically, he has leprosy. There's like these boils on his face, and his wife is like, "Look, this God thing ain't working out. Curse at him, die, and let's get it over with."
Because she tired of dealing with it. And I know I know as a man, and I know all my coaches be on me. Like I got like my coaches are like, they're married now, and they're deep in the word too. So every time I say my wife, that ain't your wife. Y'all deep in this is on.
Oh, this is before y'all was married?
No, now. So like, this is the thing with me and my wife. We like, we're married. We haven't had a wedding. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it was during the pandemic, but so my coaches be on me all the time, like, so we all living in sin. So when they see this, I just want to clarify, you know what I'm saying? The last little bit, that's why, we are gonna have a wedding, and but the reason I say that is, what was the point?
No, he's talking about Job and his wife.
Oh, Job. Yeah. Oh, so the reason I said that is because I was just recently saying, if the person closest to you is your wife, if she don't believe in what you believe in, it's gonna be hard to believe in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I've been trying to knock sugar. My wife been coming home with Krispy Kremes and all that. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's hard to do it if your wife's not on it. So that means he was on his deathbed. 90% of the time, when us as men, when we're that, like, you on your sick bed, it's usually your wife is the closest to you. Right. If she's there close to you, helping you out, and she's telling you, man, don't believe in this. He had the chance to turn his back on God, but he stuck with him. Right. In the end of Job, he got everything tenfold, double. And that's where I feel like I'm at in my life now. Yes. Like, man, I got an amazing son. My son is like, such a blessing. My girl is such a blessing. My place is such a blessing. I remember the place that we live in now. I remember us walking by one Christmas around Christmas time, because we used to live up the street. My girl was like, I like those apartments right there. And I was just like, one of those, like, man, that ain't even in our realm of thinking. Like, why you worried about? You better think about your goals and what's next. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, and we there now. We didn't outgrew that.
In those particular, where she pointed at,
right where she pointed at. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, even that, it reminds me, like, gotta work through your wife. They're the visionary. You're the one that's supposed to put it in plan of action. So like, that's why we're supposed to listen to our wives.
Especially in this thing, man, where you're working off of faith and working. You have a faith-based career. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So to have somebody that believes in you and has vision as well, and is seeing you toward, man. If I wanted to ask you about your son. I know you know the pictures all over the line. In fact, that's the first thing on your Instagram, right? You talk about your son. That's the title that you are so proud of. But I wanted to ask you, like, as you raised, he's very young, but like I think we're similar, that we had a relationship with church, but didn't necessarily weren't able to be cultivated in a relationship with God early. I don't know if one can do that, but do you have a strategy for making your son reliant on God or have a relationship with God, or is it just something that you believe will just kind of have to work itself out?
Man, it's crazy that you're telling me. So like I was telling my cousin is a Muslim, right? Yeah. And he didn't want to push that on his kids. Mm-hmm. So he has 3 boys and they're little. So he was like, I'm not gonna make them do it. You know what I'm saying? So he would go in a room for prayer, and his littlest one just started like, I want to come do it too. And like, even now, like, I never pushed on I did kind of like, before you eat your food, say your prayer, you know, like something like that. Or before we go to bed, like in my house, I would pray. But I didn't really I wasn't like that, like committed to prayer. Like he wouldn't see me like getting, like we just started doing that, like getting on our knees in the living room and spending 10 minutes before we leave the home, like praying. And now just naturally they do it. When they see you do it, they want to do it. Right. You know, like with everything else is like, that's the beauty of having a child. They are spitting image. It's like looking in a mirror all day. If there's something you don't like about yourself, your kid is going to do it. If there's something that you know, your kid is going to do it. So like, even right now, he's just like, oh, pray, my Bible. I'm like, oh, but it's because that's an example of where I'm at. Right,
because you're living it. I know some brothers that they say go to church, they say, but then you see them, you know, behaving in a certain way, and they're mimicking your behavior, not what you're talking about, not to be some godly man that you're not setting the example for, man. I love that you're doing that. I mean, it's got to make the idea of what God did with Christ sacrificing his son. A lot of people don't understand that story, because in that Hebrew culture, you have nothing more important than your son. Like, you can't give any. You don't have a PlayStation 5 is not as important. You know what I mean? Nowadays, you might get your Tesla for the sins of man, or something that we consider a big sacrifice. But does that story resonate a little more with you? The idea of,
I you know, it's crazy as you're saying it. It does. Yeah. But I never thought about it like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought about.
Because he's the continuation of you. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, your ability, because your likeness, right? Like, because I have a stepfather, but I look like my birth father, but my likeness is of my stepdad. Like you said, I mimic he chews his tongue. Every now and again when I'm frustrated, I might chew my tongue. So I'm more the image of my stepdad than I am my natural dad. So like you're saying, all that, what your mannerisms, and as Christ comes in you and he's seeing that, I guess that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, just be. I never try to, and this is just for myself, though.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like I never try to push, religion on my son. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, hopefully we get to the point where like he just sees it done and he sees my faith activated, and that's where he gets it from. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I did actually like, since we on here, one of my goals and dreams has been to like do my own comedy special, 25 to 30 minute. Yeah. So everybody's like, how you gonna do it? I was like, I'm gonna do a Kickstarter. We're gonna raise some money. We're gonna shoot it. Right. And then my coach was like, well, people ain't just gonna donate unless you give them something. And I was like, all right, well, I kind of been working on this memorandum, like a journal, for the last couple months. Right. Like I've been journaling every day, and it's the lessons I learned from my son. And I just was taking it down. It wasn't for a reason, but I would like be out with my son and I would learn something when I be out with him. Yeah. And I was like, dang, maybe I should put this out. So I'm actually doing, I don't want to say a book, but a memorandum. It's like 12 chapters, and it's just lessons I learned from my son.
I love that.
Yeah. Because you learn so much. You learn.
That's dope.
Yeah, I think it's amazing because
I think that everybody, and even people that don't have kids, like it's things that I learned. Yeah. Like one of them is, we played. I take him out to play soccer every morning just because I want him to box. That's the goal. It's like, I want him to box. So for the cardio, I would do the soccer just to get him running and moving. Right. And so it's just like, it's crazy how good he's gotten at soccer. Right. So it's just doing something every day. You're gonna get better at it naturally. You know what I'm saying? And then one thing he likes to do with playing soccer is pick up the ball and he'll throw it. And we used to get into it all the time. Like, no, you have to kick the ball. You don't throw it. And then he was like kind of fussy, and it made me realize like, what's more important, him having fun,
following these rules,
or following these rules? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so man,
man. So it's just stuff like that I've learned.
Woo, you just said a thing. Yeah. Sorry, you just said a thing, man.
Yeah, it's just stuff like that I've learned.
Oh my God, and that just reminds, because Jesus came to set us free from the law, and anyway, that did something in my mind. It's doing too much. Maybe I went too far with that.
No, I like that. I like that. I like where it's going.
You feel what I'm saying? Set us free from rules because He loves us so much. He had to set us. The law just had to be put aside. But but at the same time, you can't be just picking up the ball, young man. We still playing soccer now.
You need to go to college.
But no, man, that's beautiful, man. And I honestly watching you, like, because you post sometimes with your son, it makes me excited to have a son, especially in this career, because I feel like with many of the men and people in my family, like they had regular jobs, so they couldn't. I don't know. It's something to watching somebody grow and with fresh eyes that, like you said, can really teach you about the world, and really allow your perspective to shift. Like, wow, what about when everything was fresh? I didn't really get that opportunity. Most people don't, because your family doesn't really raise you like that. They just drop you off somewhere. And, you know what I'm saying?
That's the I got a son that's 20 years old, and I did it terrible, bro. One of my biggest guilts, like even when I
did not know that. I've known you for like 8 years.
I got a son that's 20 years old, bro. My son is 20. I had a son that's 17, right? Yeah. And so I did it. He came to live with me during the pandemic, and it just was so. When you get somebody that's 16, they already got their decision made, and it's crazy too. Like, even going deeper in it, like my mom did that. She sent me to live with my dad when I was 16. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it was like the same. So it kind of forced. I learned two things in it. One, forgiveness, how we talk about. Right. It's so many things that we like, man, our parents, and you'll never realize until you're a parent, you're like, oh, that's what they was, that's what my daddy was going through. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mama is hard to deal with. She's an amazing lady, but man, I guess as the mother of my child, it might not be good. So like, I realized that. And then when he came to live with me, it was just, but I was that parent when I was young, and it just was like, I'm trying to make money. I'm not around. Then I wasn't really focused on a relationship with his mom, and I did it I didn't do it the right way. So now doing it again, I tell people, if you're gonna have a child, especially fathers, I don't know what it's like to be a mom, so I'm not just saying fathers, but if you have a son, it's so important for you to be able to be that present, or have somebody else raise your child. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna look after your kid like imagine if you was your kid's coach. You know what I'm saying? You gonna make sure he get it right. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how life is. So I've been really blessed that the way, you know, I put myself through barber school and stuff like that to work, that my schedule is flexible enough to where like I'm really present with my son from day in and day out. You know what I'm saying?
It's a beautiful thing, man. And I'm just because I prepared this question, it's talking about Nahum and the nation. I love the lane we're going. I hope we can. I don't have you for that much time, so I do want to get to this real quick, just out of curiosity, not to get too militant, right? You know, sorry, Channing, if you get a little uncomfortable. Okay, two black men talking. Okay, so just jump in if you want to. But so the first chapter of Nahum which is what we're in today, right? It's thought to be a warning to all nations who grow up on the basis of injustice, right? Like the Assyrians did, and you know, these different nations. So being that America's place in the world has advanced due to, you know, the history of slavery and cruel treatment of other nations, right? And in bondage of other nations. Do you believe that this is tough, my bad. If you don't want to answer this, we changed the whole, I wrote this down because Nahum was talking about Assyria, and every nation that has started in some type of mess is but do you believe America will experience divine justice? And if you do, in what way?
Can you just elaborate on the question?
Well, like he was talking about Assyria, right? And Assyria was going to literally, I think the first verse was like, you will have no descendants and this and this and that. One of the verses, it was talking about, because Babylonians were coming to destroy, but then the Babylonians just conquered them basically. So they were just switching slave masters. They went from the Egyptians to the Assyrians to the Babylonians to later Rome. When Jesus is there, everybody thinks he's coming to cut off Caesar's head, right? Like that's his job as the Messiah. No, his job is to set everybody free internally, right? Like you free from sin. And if we get free from sin, then because obviously the cycle is just going to continue. If we just continue to kill the enemy, the Philistines, then just somebody else is going to come, the Germans, whoever, right? And is going to occupy this nation of people. So it's not about killing your enemy in that way in Jesus. It's about, if I love my enemy, I'll kill him, right? Like, because I can't have an enemy because it's a relationship. If I love you, there's no relationship. You just trying to kill me, and that's your business, right? But my bad. So feel free to nod. Maybe maybe we're already in reconciliation. Maybe there won't be any divine justice, but I just thought based on the nature of Nahum's speech that every nation who started in injustice will be destroyed. Do you think America is shifting in a way that's not like, well, do you think there's some type of divine justice in store for our country?
If I understand the question correctly, I'm gonna tell you I'm no scholar. High school education, 2 years of community college. I'm gonna let you know. So if I understand it correct, I think divine injustice. I think yes, because I think all of us are mixing so much that that's the divine. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I was speaking to my mother earlier, right? My mother's mom and father from Mexico. My dad, his parents, they from Louisiana, but they Oakland. You know what I'm saying? And they mix. But it's funny because my grandparents on my mom's side, they was racist. My dad's mom, she was racist.
Right.
And you know what happened? All my cousins are black and Mexican. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't even remember, like when I was growing up, my older cousin had a girlfriend that was Asian. And I used to see him arguing. I'm like, I never dated Asian. And look at God, my wife is Asian. My son is Cambodian, black, and Mexican. So it's just gonna continue to mix. Before you know it, you ain't gonna have nobody to hate because everybody is you, and you almost scared to hate.
That's
somebody.
The divine justice.
That's the divine justice, and you better be scared to hate.
Right.
I thought about this earlier. I was like, bro, there's people out there, right, in these places that are like so racist, they still KKK and all that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because down the line, one of their granddaughters definitely gonna date a black man. You know what I'm saying?
That life
or
is
their
hard.
sons is gonna get a, you know what I'm saying?
Imagine they can't enjoy nothing. You can't enjoy football. You can't enjoy that. If you're a true blue racist.
Human nature. It's the same thing we were talking about earlier with like people preaching Bible thumping. It's human nature to go against what you're being told to do constantly. So if you're being told you got to do this, you got to live by the good book. This is what you have to do if you want this. It's human nature to go, get that shit out of my face. Get away from me. If your parents are going, you can't do this, you have to do that.
You can't mess with that black guy. Get that
brother out of here. Brendan's supposed to take over the Ku Klux Klan. He's like, but have you seen the booty on him? I love all
so much ass out here. Golly.
Look at all this ass on there.
BBWs, man.
You ever been to LA? Oh, they're thick out there, man.
Eating that cornbread. God dang.
Look, that top piece of this right here. Yeah.
What are you tripping for, Pops? Come on, man. Here's LaQuisha.
Yeah, look at her. Hey, say hi. This is my dad.
That's how it goes, man.
And then the part about it, you know what's crazy? It be these grandfathers that be so racist. And then they end up having these grandbabies, and they love their grandchild so much.
Right away.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to say this on the record, but off the record, I'm my grandfather's probably favorite. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just, you know, it just taught him to love black folks. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just, I think that's our divine nature. It's just like, it's going to weave it out. You know what I'm saying? So we almost like conquering hate.
Right.
So, yeah,
see, that's why he ended it with saying the Lord is good, and he understand. Yes, the evil ways, the evil part of it. If the Assyrians, if they represent evil in that way, then yes. But then something else that was said, right? Nahum actually was ahead of Jesus by 600 years. Obviously, 635 BC is when he was born. So that means 600 years later, Jesus would come. But the last verse of chapter 1 reads like this, in this verse 15. Look on the mountain. He's a prophet. So this is what he said. Look there on the mountains, the feet of the one who brings good news, who proclaims peace. Celebrate your festivals, Judah. Jesus is the Lion of the tribe of Judah, which means praise. And fulfill your vows. No more will the wicked invade you. They will be completely destroyed. Now, do you believe that this was a prophetic allusion to the coming of Jesus? And how effective has Jesus been in destroying the wicked, as was said? In what was done by Jesus, like, has that been effective in your opinion, or how do you look at it? So do you think, well, one, do you think that was an allusion to Jesus, one, and two, do you think that the coming of Jesus has been effective over mankind in a battling wickedness? I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that. I should have maybe prepared.
Yeah, he gave me some essay questions.
You say something wrong, and in the pastor like, how could you say Jesus wasn't? There's a little loaded, because I don't mean to say like,
hey, I ain't never been the best test taker. This is ASDFFFF. Like, hey,
Terrence forgot to bring his number 2 pencil.
And then they put the essay question at the end. Oh man, I'm done. He didn't gave me the essay question.
Well, bad. I mean, my bad.
Do I think that God has been,
or that the coming of Jesus, that, obviously the strategy being that he becomes sin and dies as our atonement to sin, right? He becomes all of our sin, takes it on his shoulders, gets sacrificed, and but then he offers us grace through that, right? Because we can use Jesus. Nobody comes to the Father except by him, right? According to the doctrine. So that you use his righteousness as your shield. I mean, do you think that that's an effective way? At least maybe I can guess you can only speak for your particular life. Does that stamp out the wickedness, or is that a good shield for when you feel like some time of trouble is coming, or when somebody's coming similar?
Yeah. Do I feel like God's word is a shield for when?
Is it effective to fight wickedness in your life? Has it been? Because I know earlier on people will come at you with violence, and you would respond with violence. Correct. Obviously, right? Correct. So how effective is this new good news that
it's a mad, like, I tell people sometimes it's a blessing for me to find God, because if I wouldn't have found God, if I handled it, my daily, the beauty of becoming even maturity in my Christianity or as a believer is just like knowing, like, let me take a minute. Let me pray.
Not be as reactive.
My first reaction is to, so, and I have been able to be like, you know what, I'm gonna just let God handle that. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it has helped.
Yeah, fight. I think it's a great shield against wickedness, because it doesn't allow it to. It's your ego that needs to protect itself with a gun. I don't think that, my Christ nature. I feel like, I feel Jesus working in me to say, what, man, let that go. Man.
Yeah, but a lot of people think that God was just this soft dude.
I want to ask you,
gotta exercise.
Wait a minute.
There's certain, Yeah.
No, yeah, I want to ask you that because I know you into boxing. Do you feel like, I mean, how do you respond when people say like, hey, you know, you watching violent stuff or you teaching your son boxing or, because I feel like Jesus we talked about this before, he was a wrestler. That's the first time you see him he's wrestling with Jacob, right? Who he broke his hip, right? And Jacob wouldn't let him go until he blessed. Jacob became Israel, blah, 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 right? The nations of Israel's 12 sons. But anyway, yeah, he's fighting. The first time you see a vision of Jesus in the Bible, he whooping somebody's ass. Like, I mean, like,
I've never even heard that.
Yeah, that's what shit. Israel means, he who struggles with God. So Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So it's the God of Abraham.
Wrestling.
Huh?
I was talking about
the wrestling. Yeah, so he fought with God. Like he fought the first manifestation of an angel man.
It just said wrestle though.
Right.
It didn't say, but that's box. Dope. It's dope that you interpret it like it could be however you interpret it. It could be a physical wrestle or wrestle with
I was picturing wrestling.
I guess it was.
It was a dream. They were wrestling, but then when he woke up, his hip, so he walked the rest of his life with a limp. Jacob did.
That's even beautiful. The fact that he interpreted it like that, because I have a jiu-jitsu background. I'm like, dang, he was in there rolling. I was like, he was submitting folks in the Bible. I was
Jesus out there doing double legs.
Yeah, like, hey, look.
I'm saying, man.
I was thinking, like, damn, I wonder would he be a luchador? Would he be Greco-Roman? Would he be a WWE?
Triangle? He'd be in there like, nah, but yeah, that's hilarious.
There's a crucifix choke too.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There you go. Better atone. You better confess.
For your hip pop out.
Straight up. No, but yeah, I feel like, I mean, it's a warrior. Because the idea is you go to battle with the adversary. Satan means he who the adversary, right? So he who opposes is what Satan actually means. But yeah, so it is a fight, but it's a fight against principalities. But the same principles, I feel like, you are what you need to be successful in these combat sports. You know, but what do you say to people that criticize that?
Well, I mean, criticism like that. That all goes back to like even people in the church telling you. I mean, I try to have a relationship with God, so I always feel like everything that I'm doing is in line with God. You know, when I told people I was going to barber school, they thought I was crazy, and it's been a huge blessing. And I met my wife in barber school, so when you're on your journey, you can't listen to people's opinions.
That's right.
But I do, and like I said, I'm mature, but I haven't matured all the way. So I still am somebody who, like, I got a spiritual bubble, right? Like, as long as you stay over there, I'm not gonna bother you. You know what I'm saying? You want to post your comments online, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just don't attack my child, don't attack my wife. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool. Like, even somebody to the point where, like, we got 3 rules in the hood. You're not supposed to call a man a punk, a man, and you know what I'm saying? And even though it's like, as long as you say I'm outside my bubble, I don't want to fight you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My new struggle's been, I know we got my new struggle has been like racism. You know what I'm saying? It's been my heart, because that'd be my first thing to try to, when racism pop up, you know, I be wanting to fight. You know, because I do total Hispanic rooms and I do all black rooms sometimes. And so sometimes I'll do a Hispanic room or something and I hear like, I get like a racist comment, and then I'll be like, oh man, come on, let's suit up, put the gloves on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I keep a pair of gloves in my trunk. I'm from the old school. Hey, we go to the back, let's boom. You got 3 minutes. I ain't gonna kick you as soon as you fall.
You can't go to jail for that. If 2 people agree to combat like that.
I lost a job like that though. You don't want to do that.
They can't fire you from a job.
I did get fired from a job.
What job was that?
I was working on this show, Living with Latinos, and
a TV show.
No, it was like when Facebook was making original content, right? So it was like a Facebook watch show, and one of the editors was like, you know, he Mexican dude, and he called me N-word, and I just was like, what are you saying it with the E or the G, the A on it? Like, I gave him a chance.
Are you upset? Like, explain yourself.
Like a GA? Like, did you listen to some hip hop? Maybe is this gonna be like a coaching or coaching? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the mind to get in the game.
Right.
And so I gave him a chance to say it again, and he put the ER on it, and I said, "Hey, bro,
calm like this." I love it,
bro. Look,
check this out.
I feel super disrespected. I said, we're gonna put the gloves on and we gonna run it, so we can either do it in the other room, because I don't want to do it in front of these people. And he was like, no, bring him here, like, bigger dude. So he put the gloves on. I was like,
yeah, we gonna wear you out.
Y'all, you good? You ready, right? Like, I hit him with a smooth 3-piece.
Yeah.
tooth, chip.
Look, man.
It's a big tooth. Hey, don't nothing in racism like a tooth.
Right.
But you shouldn't do things. But even to say though, like is a man of God, right? And it's so crazy because me and the dude used to talk about the word all the time. So I felt like sometimes when you get the devil in there, I should have handled it different. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because now everything that we did to build to be an example of Christ, right? That was a situation where I should have been the bigger person. Like I should have just. That's when I should have exercised God. And that's where I'm trying to get to.
And I love that God is working on you in that way to chastise you afterward, because that's how you know. Because some brothers use word. I'm the type of brother at a certain point, I know the word. I grew up in the word. So I'll take the word and I would justify. Paul said, if a righteous man strikes me, that is kindness. I did that brother a favor by striking him and knocking out his tooth.
Well, you know you married, right?
Yeah, I ain't never hit my wife.
No. But I'm saying, like you want to work on something, God is that's where God is like everything that I done heard. I'm like, oh, she don't say racist stuff, but I'm just saying like all the slick talking. Your mama this.
The Bible said.
I'm like, oh Lord, please let me find. I'll be like, let me find something
to hit her with this. Let me tell you what you're doing wrong, woman. It says right here in Habakkuk.
You know, I'll be quick. My wife named Mary. I'll be like, Mary. Oh, you see Mary? Your name is biblical.
You're not in line with your name, young lady.
Oh my gosh, man.
But no, and I love that you allow it to, hey man, I did wrong, blah. But I mean, I do feel like, and you know, I know we got to get to the trivia, and I know Shannon's got some amazing, some questions for us. He's got a whole setup. But before we do, I do want to say, you know, I love that with the, people don't realize with combat stuff, man, it can calm you down. I mean, it allows you, just how you told that brother, I didn't have to get angry. We can throw these hands, if you know, and he still had a choice. He could be like, well, I don't think I do want to do that, but he put them on. And certain, see, people when they get angry, they're not used to violence, and they use this like anger doesn't help you in that situation when we actually in the combat, right? But if it comes to you, I just say I like the training. I love that you're training your son so he doesn't have to panic or be scared in certain situations. But hopefully those situations never come where he has to exercise that ability.
My whole thing, and I tell everybody this, I want to teach my son so that he's good enough to where he can stand up in a situation and feel like I can defend him myself. But I also want to train him enough to where he's smart enough to where like I can walk away and not feel like, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, even kids now, they ain't taking law. Like you whoop a kid bad enough now, they quick to get a gun. And that, I got a whole thing on that too. Fathers of the next generation, let's make it the new norm that, your son tripping, my son tripping, they ain't getting along.
Call me. Gloves on.
Yeah, call me. Come to the crib.
We'll fight.
We put the not even that.
Not that.
Like we put the garage door down. We give them
front of yourself.
Hey, we can get them in they can duke it out like Joe Jackson did with Tito and them, and we just be cool, man. It ain't gotta go to the gun. It ain't gotta go to no gangbang. And it's just like, and even as two dads, like before we get to that point, we could try to talk to what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be that generation of father. You know
absolutely, man. I pray for success in that. But speaking of violence, we got some verbal violence going down right now because we got the Bible trivia. We fighting for this right here, the Bible belt.
Okay.
Let's see if Terrence could take my. Well, I'm losing right now. I don't have the belt technically. The guest has it, so because I've been losing the last couple of weeks. Oh, Channing, no, you didn't. This is all Channing right here. Oh man, I hope he cleared this. I hope I don't get sued. This sounds so good.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, believers and non-believers alike, your host Sean Grant is coming off 3, count them 3, back-to-back losses. Terrence, you are defending the Bible belt on behalf of the guests. Sean, you are battling to get your belt back.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Gentlemen, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This put me in my Rocky mode. I want to get out there.
Here we go.
I got to read the question.
Oh, we'll start with one. Shannon's got the answer there, but you go first. So if you get it, I'm allowed to say the same thing as you. Like, if we tie at the end, then you win.
Okay.
Okay, because if I'm going to have a podcast called Comedian Bible Study, I ought to win. You know what I'm saying? So if it's a tie, you win, bro. But we got these 3 questions here, all multiple choice, and Channing to read them out to us, and we'll get gully.
Question 1.
Yes, sir.
When Christ returns, those who are saved will meet him where? Ooh. A, Mount Zion. B, purgatory. C, air. Or D, heaven.
Okay, we got we're gonna go process of elimination. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of C. Purgatory, that just sounds like a strip club in Atlanta. We'll get rid of that one. So we between Mount Zion and heaven. I'm going to go with D, heaven.
D, heaven. Okay. And let me, because it's always, every time, see, I did that same thing where I just eliminated air immediately. But Channing gets these, this is why I've been losing, because like one was like an eagle's feather was the ant. I'm like, what? He picked some of the weird. I'm going to go, the thing that I think it couldn't be, because I have no idea. I want to say Mount Zion, but I'm going to go air. Just to, I don't know.
We both got it wrong.
I think
Terrence is going with D, heaven.
I'm
Sean is going with
air.
C, air. The correct answer is C,
air.
Is it?
What? Yeah. What is that? What did it say? The whole verse? Is that in Revelation?
Bible?
I would have to look it.
We'll look it up. Y'all look it up in the comments.
No,
I have no. They'll meet me in the air. All right. Or maybe it's worded. I've never heard it that way.
I can look it up when we wrap up the quiz.
Okay.
You guys, do all that.
Tell us in the comments what it. Yeah. How it's written, y'all. Okay.
Question 2. On what day did the apostles first speak in tongues? A, Jesus' resurrection day. B, Passover. C, Pentecost. Or D, All Saints Day.
Okay, I know this one.
Terrence.
I know this one.
I'm going to go with B, the Passover.
The Passover. Okay, I'm going to go with C, the Pentecost.
Terrence is going with B, Passover. Sean is going with C, Pentecost. Correct answer is...
I knew that one was right because the Pentecost, see, Passover was a Jewish holiday that they celebrate because that was when the angel of death passed over the slaves, but they killed all the Egyptian firstborn. But Pentecost is when after Jesus came back from resurrection, they tarried for the Holy Spirit, and then the Holy Spirit came, and they all did like tongues and stuff, and then Jesus ascended after that. But
all right, just to round it out, here's question number 3. How did Saul escape from those who wanted to kill him in Damascus? Ooh. A, boat. B, horseback. C, running. Or D, basket.
Shoot. Saul. So he was running. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't know if he was running. I know he was fleeing from David. Those who wanted to kill him in Damascus. Oh, no, that's Paul. Paul is Damascus. Because, who would become Paul? I'm thinking of King Saul. But this is Saul who would become Paul the Apostle. What you got, Terrence? What you got?
I messed up and went B with the last one.
Right.
And the reason I went with B is because I'm from a former blood neighborhood, so you always go B when you don't know the answer. But I'm not going to try that because we use God to
That's right. That's right.
He ain't a running back, so I ain't going to go with C.
Yeah.
It's either boat or basket. Man, let's go with D, basket.
D, basket. That sounds right. I'm going to go with... I'll just say I don't think they can run in the clothes they had. I'll go boat. I'll go A, boat.
Terrence is going basket. Sean's going boat. The correct answer is D, basket.
A basket.
I knew it. Hey, see.
A basket.
So
okay.
Making the score 2-1
yeah!
for Sean reclaiming the belt.
What did you get?
I got the air, lucky, and then I knew Pentecost. So like that one I did know. I didn't know 3 and 1. But I'm back, baby. I got the belt, and that's right. I'ma hold it, undisputed. I'm the Terrence Crawford of the.
Oh, damn! Hey,
man, I knew. I bet I won $300. Oh yeah. You don't wear that.
You
Bud
know
shirt.
my dog Bud got.
Oh man, he's just too. Oh yeah, he's just too technical with it, man. Golly, but Terrence, thank you. You're another one that's technical, y'all. If you guys haven't seen my brother, he's super talented, but his technique, your approach to comedy, man, and your discipline is amazing. Where can the people see you next? What's going on? Which this will come out a few weeks from now. We're a little backlogged, but like around October, November.
Man, if you can, just please hit a like or follow on all my social media, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I'm trying to actually grow all my social media Follow me there. I am gonna actually go ahead and do my first 25 to 30 comedy mixtape.
Yes.
So just support that. Just follow me and look out for what I got coming up. I'm usually at the Long Beach Laugh Factory regularly. That's my home club, or at the Hollywood one. So just I'll be all over, man. Just look for me. I got dates. I'm all over the place. I've been in Ontario every Thursday the last 3 weeks. So
TerrenceDelane.com is the website?
Yeah, TerrenceDelane.com. But my guy who I got running the website really don't be updating like that. Just I usually post just my day in, day out. And the fact that we on here, I do post my daily word, or you know what I'm saying, stuff on my stuff. You just you going through something and you just. And I'm really one of them type of people too. I get people all the time, man, can you pray for this? I'm really somebody who send me your name. I do lift it in prayer.
Yes.
I do reach out. I'm always preaching. Look, there's a lot of people that have been at their low this year, and you feel like ending it. I'm praying for you. I pray that you get life. There's something on the other side. So feel free to reach out to me on any social media, and I really do give people my time as far as just like praying with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we love that about you, bro. Thank you for joining us. And guys, follow us at Comedian Bible Study on IG. If you're listening to this, watch us on YouTube. Give us a like there. And if you're watching on YouTube, go to one of them on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google Podcasts. So, thank you guys for believing in this, for watching this, for enjoying it. Channing, please support Channing Apodaca. Go see him. He's a live comedian as well. Check me out. I'm Sean Grant. We thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you guys. Peace out.